Welcome back to First Listens, that series where we listen to an album that neither of us have heard for the first time.
Today we're going to be listening to Title Fight's debut album, Shed. Title Fight are a band that are absolutely huge in the pop punk scene. I've never listened to them before. You've never listened to them before. I'm excited to see what this is like.
Let's get straight into things with the first track, Coxton Yard. Straight in with the energy.
Oh, yeah. Gritty, isn't it?
I like the splitting of the guitars. I can just hear one riff in my left ear.
And then the chugging on the other ear. Oh, a little bit of a sad boy section.
But still with mad drum.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Very non-standard time signature, isn't it?
Really short song to kick things off, but that was energetic, and it felt as if in a minute and a half we got 3 different mini songs. The drumming was insane throughout, but it was really fast-paced, then kind of felt a little sadder for a minute, despite still being quite fast. I don't know, it was all over the place, but I liked it.
That felt like it was over before it began. Like I was just getting into it again, and we were getting that reprise at the end of the original sound that we had, and then done. And it felt very, I want to say DIY. Do you know what I mean? It had a certain vibe to it where, you know, it wasn't overly mastered. It all sounds raw and ready, and I quite like it. I quite like the emotion that you can feel through the vocalist's voice. So I'm excited to see what we get with Shed. This is the title track, so should be something good.
Sick riff.
You can just hear that bass pounding through on the low end as well. Oh, them vocals are visceral, aren't they?
Sounds painful.
Yeah.
Oh, I proper love that little higher pitch riff.
Oh, a little half time. When it goes into these halftime sections, I'm surprised the drummer can go that slow, considering how speedy he was originally.
Oh, I love that.
That was cool. That was cool.
I wasn't expecting that at all then.
That had a lot of very heartfelt lyrics on it, and I honestly thought that the title of Shed was about like a place that you'd have in your garden, like a garden shed. but it's actually about shedding your skin rather than it being, a place where you store all your shovels and that.
Yeah, I quite like the idea that he was exploring being betrayed, and I saw it as someone being a snake and shedding the skin, turning into someone else. I might not be right there, but obviously first time listening. I think that the pain and anger in his vocals comes through big time on that, and I don't know, it made me feel a little uneasy in some moments, but I suppose that's a positive.
That's a good thing about a project, though, isn't it? When you can feel emotions that you don't usually feel, because a lot of bands could play it safe, but this one feels like, to say this is debut as well, this is so raw and so heartfelt, and the vocals are so intense and just everything layering on top of each other.
And if you are a pop punk fan, please do not forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment telling us which pop punk album we should listen to next. We've recently done Under Soil and Dirt and What You Don't See by The Story So Far, so we're on the hype at the minute. Leave an album in the comments and hit like and subscribe.
Up next, we've got Flood of 72. Flood of 72? What happened then?
A flood in 72, I guess.
Oh, there's that punk feel back. So much more energy in this one compared to Shed.
It's almost quite math rocky with the timing of it. We've said that for a few albums before, but it's so off time.
Very non-standard time signatures, isn't it? Oh.
Cleaner vocals, not quite as growly this time.
Yeah. He had a cup of water before singing this one. Great guitar work. Ooh, the pairing of the rhythm and the lead guitar in that outro bit then was beautiful. That's what I really like about these earlier kind of... it's like pop punk, but it's pop punk adjacent, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I'd say it's more punk than pop in any way, this.
And it's always got those time signatures that are a bit weird, but it's also got really melodic guitars where both the rhythm and the lead guitar could be misconstrued as one another. So it could always be one or it could be the other. I love that shit.
Yeah, I thought that was another fantastic song. I quite like the fact that they're keeping it short and sweet. Like, they've got an idea, they're going to explore it, and they don't overdo it. Do you know what I mean? There's not loads of choruses. It's just in and out and move on.
Yeah, it's very of its era, I think, because this was released in 2011, I think, which again is the same time that Under Soil and Dirt was released by The Story So Far. So we had all these. How have we not listened to this stuff before, man? It's crazy. Up next, we've got Society, track number 4.
Some of the riffs are so good.
Yeah.
Like, catchy as hell. The mixing's been fantastic so far as well. Like, it's always that chugging guitar in my right ear and then the riffs in my left every time.
Whew.
The amount of switches in the instrumental and timing is mad.
All I can think is that trying to play any of these songs live must be so difficult, especially if it's something that, as a band, they've not played in years, and they go, right, we're going to throw in, I don't know, Society from the first album into the mix, and everyone will be like, how the fuck does that go again? What do I do to play that?
But imagine seeing these in a sweaty basement with everyone ruining the vocal cords at the same time, just screaming the lyrics back to them. I can imagine they had some fantastic live shows. It
does sound like, though, that he's putting some vocal fry onto the lyrics and onto the words that he's delivering, but it just sounds like it's painful. That cannot be sustainable. I can't help but think that in later albums he can't be doing that same like level of emotion he's showing. I love it personally because you don't hear it that often. I mean, maybe in like your Midwest emo you might hear it a little bit more, which I think this is kind of, there's a weird blending of genres going on here, and I think these may be kind of one of the first bands to do that.
I was going to say, even after the first 4 tracks of what is a debut album, I can see, like, we've spoke to a lot of pop punk bands, Knuckle Puck, 4 Year Strong, etc., who always mention these guys as being some of the forefathers and big inspirations and, you know, someone that they love touring with, etc. I can see why, because there's so much emotion and energy in it, and the actual musicality of it is pretty much unmatched in terms of this type of album so far. If it carries on like this with so many different riffs and speed changes and everything else, I'll be shocked.
You know how they always say like MF Doom was your favourite rapper's favourite rapper? I feel like Title Fight are your favourite pop punk band's favourite pop punk band.
Yeah.
So
100%.
They're big with the bands, maybe not so big on a general scale, but like every band always gives these kudos and always says everything about them. And I'm quite glad we're listening to them now, to be honest.
Well, up next is You Can't Say Kingston Doesn't Love You.
That bass tone. Dirty.
Ooh.
I like that. Ooh. So much energy in those drums.
Crazy line. I'm dirt beneath your feet, step all over me.
Oh. Oh, that ending like 10 seconds there. If that had been extrapolated to 30 seconds or something, I could have seen that being like a dirty, full-on breakdown that the crowd would just go absolutely apeshit to. That was a really good, really succinct track. It just felt like it had a little bow on top, and it was like perfect length, exactly what it needed to be.
Everything's been succinct so far. This is one of the first listens that we've done where I've thought, I really need to listen to this again already to kind of get all the different little changes and riffs coming in and out. It's really impressed me, and the actual content of the song in terms of like kind of been that in love with someone you're willing to do anything and let them use you and kind of be treated like a mug is interesting. That feels a bit more like a pop punky type lyrical content, at least.
Yeah, that definitely felt like it had the workings of pop punk, you know, this teenage angst and the will she, won't she kind of situations that they have going on. There's a lot of interesting themes being tackled on this album so far. And again, with pairing with his vocal style, it all just sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Well, up next, Tim, is Crescent-Shaped Depression.
That's an interesting song title, that, isn't it?
A couple of them have been quite interesting. Flood of 72.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, calmer one. all isolated on the right ear currently. There we go. Oh! This has got that heavy math rock vibe. Woo!
Yeah, the production and the mixing is insane. Especially for what feels quite DIY, like you said.
Woo. Never goes where you think it's gonna go.
Oh, that switch from the riff into the more rhythm section there is sick.
Back with that fast guitar. Beautiful drum work. Ooh.
Drumming is mad.
Yeah.
That was almost like a mini breakdown.
Woo! That was a track. That felt the most different to all the other tracks that we've had so far. It was a lot more serene in the intro, then it was a lot more heartfelt. It was a lot more... There was a lot more going on than every other track.
I think it's because that was the first track over 2 minutes and it was 2 minutes 40. So, the second track over 2 minutes. And it felt as if they explored a lot more in terms of sound. But again, I thought that was so good. I think that was my favorite so far on the album.
What I like is that the kind of instrumentals also at parts start muddying out the vocals and kind of leaving them, like they all end up being on the same level. Whereas with a lot of production choices, they tend to boost vocals over the sound of the instrumental. But for this, they kind of merge it all into one sound, and it creates a kind of soundscape that I'm not used to hearing, because I'm used to hearing these not overproduced, but produced to a level where the vocals are obviously higher in the mix. This, it's all just merged together, and it has this... It feels like you're in the room with them playing at like a show in somebody's living room. You know, like all these American TV shows where they have a band play in the living room. It feels like that, where the levels are just set on the amps and then it's good to go.
Well, we're past the halfway point now, Tim, and if people haven't hit like and subscribe yet, tell them why they need to.
Because they will feel safe in their skin if they
that's sorrow there.
That doesn't make any sense. But that is the track that's up next, so like and subscribe, as Joe says.
Safe in your skin.
Oh.
Distortion.
Yeah. It's backmasked. It's that reverse
really
distortion.
Concerned as to where this is going to go.
Yeah.
I do know this one for some reason.
Fully isolated on the left side as well.
Feels really warm, doesn't it?
Yeah. They must just have rhythm and lead on two separate channels entirely. Oh. Oh. feels so warm. Like a big cup of hot chocolate.
A winter's day.
Yeah.
Toasting some bread by the fire, do you know what I mean?
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that.
It's got this ambience of sadness about it as well, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like you've just been through a breakup, you're walking home in the rain.
Or you just walked home in the rain, got absolutely soaking wet. Sad, innit?
Quite as sad.
This is beautiful. The drums just add in so much to it.
Loved the guitars, etc., just matching with the vocal progression there. I thought that was a cool little addition. To be honest, in terms of the crafting of the album, I think it's quite nice to have a bit of time to relax and take a deep breath, because it has all been very fast-paced, in your face so far. I enjoyed that, just a moment to chill.
Yeah, we haven't really heard him deliver his vocals in that style previously either. That was a lot more somber. It was a lot more heartfelt. And the track as a whole, like we were saying, it didn't really have any major energy to it. Everything was withdrawn. The guitars were slow. The drums were slow. Everything was against what we'd come to expect from this album as a whole. And like you say, I think it's good to just have a little bit of time to reflect. And there was that kind of fake out ending as well, where it all just went quiet for a good 5 seconds or so. I had to look over to make sure that the song was still continuing. And it was. And I thought it added a nice little, I don't know, it gives you this sense of warm kind of homeliness, whilst also a sense of uncertainty, like you don't know what's going to happen next. And I'm intrigued to see what happens next with Where Am I? Are we going to get an influx of energy here? So that would have carried over nicely from the previous track. Ooh.
Two vocalists there.
Who is the other somebody let us know who is the other vocalist on this track, because there's definitely two.
Unless it's just harmonies.
Yeah, maybe he's just recorded both at the same time. That riff is nice. I want to use the word jingly for the riffs on this album.
Ooh.
Oh.
I think that definitely is a different member of the band with those vocals.
It's got to be, surely.
I love these little outros. They've done it a few times, just giving the band a second to breathe, to show what they're doing.
Oh, some
moaning in my ear.
Yeah, from Title Fight. It's definitely harmonised though. I think that was a perfect continuation from the previous track. I think it kind of held the kind of same somber feeling that we had, but did come back to that energy that we had previously. The drums were a bit more upbeat. We had those jingly, that's the word I'm going to use to explain these riffs that we've got. Jingly riffs, they were back again. And overall, it felt like a nice mixture between the two styles that we've heard so far.
I think that was the most straightforward pop punky song that we've had so far, not in a negative way, and obviously the instrumentality was still much more complex than usual pop punk tracks are, but in terms of the feel of the track, it felt a bit more straightforward than the other ones, and like you say, it gives us that little, continues that little calmer moment in the album while still building it up. I'm kind of expecting Your Screen Door up next to go hard. I feel like we've built it back up to this point now.
Yeah, they've got phrases within the album now, haven't they, where the first 3 or 4 tracks were definitely a lot more upbeat, and then as we started to get towards the center of the album, we had a much more somber and depressing feel. Then with Where Am I, the energy was up a little bit, so are we going to get that energy back for the ending?
Let us know as well, before we go on to Your Screen Door, what's your favourite track off of Shed? I feel people have had a long time to listen to this album, and it probably has changed a few times, so tell us what your favourite track is.
15 years!
Mad.
And we've not listened to this before. 15 years. Oh, I like that. Woo! God damn.
That intro sounded like a Blink song. This doesn't.
Someone handed the drummer a Red Bull, didn't they? Jesus.
I said it'd go back up now. So choppy.
Oh, yeah. A lot of heartbreaky songs on this, isn't there? Oh. Bass solo.
Screeching guitar as well, just still continuing.
That bass tone is fucking beautiful, man.
That didn't go where I was expecting it to, but I enjoyed it. Just a little funky moment to close out the track.
Yeah, it was very unexpected in the scheme of the song itself, but as the album as a whole, we probably should have come to expect that.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked that track again. So much energy, and I liked the choppiness of it. I felt like I was just headbanging the whole time. I didn't quite know where it was going to go, but there was always a lot to concentrate on.
And the time signatures in that one again, they've gone back to kind of just throwing them all over the place and like having it so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rather than it being the standard pop punk timings that you'd expect. They're playing with it a lot, and I enjoy that because, like you say, it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you not knowing what's going to come next. And I think the element of surprise is always, well, if it's done well, it's good. And this is doing it very, very well, and I'm enjoying it.
Let's go on to 27 up next. Those vocals are so echoed, it sounds like they're coming from a different room. Oh. Back to the start of the album with those painful, gritty vocals, man. He switched it up really well throughout, though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, liking them drums. Just playing around with the floor toms and that. So much going on right now, with every instrument having its own line.
And the riff is actually the right ear this time.
Yeah.
Switched it up,
Yeah.
the mix. Oh, you could just be getting hyped right now, couldn't you? If this was live, you'd be getting ready to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that may be a contender for my favourite track on the album so far.
I was going to say that's now my favourite. But the fact that I've had to debate it twice already, tell us what yours is. But honestly, the energy in that was just so good, especially in that last section. I could just envisage myself in some horrible gig venue with having a few too many beers, just getting ready to go feral to that. And I think the anger and angst throughout this album has really brought that feeling within me. I'm going to have to go do some exercise after this.
You have to go punch a wall or something.
Calm down, Kyle.
It's got that feeling that you know for a fact that in one of those smaller venues that everybody would be screaming the words back to him, especially in that track. I think that kind of, that vocal style makes you want to also scream the lyrics. You can't really just sing along to that like la 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 la. You've got to fully go for it, and that would then give an influx of energy in the room, and that would just cause absolute chaos.
Up next, Tim, we're on to the second to last track already. Feels quite sad, but it is Stab.
And if you don't subscribe, Joe's going to stab you.
No, let's not threaten murder like that, Tim. I'd never do something like that.
Oh! Out of nowhere. Those drums are just fucking nuts, man.
How come I get all your dance moves when we're listening to like Lady Gaga? Why are you not doing a little...
I can't. How do you dance
Come
to
on.
this? Do you want me to stand up and do a two-step in the corner?
Yeah, I do actually.
One day I might.
Next Story So Far album, you'll be two-stepping in the corner.
Yeah.
Subscribe for that.
It's because it's so non-standard. The beat keeps changing. You never know where it's going to go.
That guitar tone is so warm again in the background. It's like it's just heating everything up. Like full, I don't even know how to describe it. Like full fat milk instead of semi-skimmed, do you know what I mean?
Sure. Ooh, it's like Coca-Cola and not Coke Zero. Come on.
Come on, I like that. So much energy again, man. I just feel like I've been on a little journey with this album at this point. We've had these high energy, intense tracks that make you want to get up and move around. And then you have a couple of tracks earlier, like a calm, emotional moment. But at the same time, everything feels emotional because of how much grit is in the lyrics when they're being delivered. I can't even get my words out. Enjoyed it again.
Can you imagine going to see this album in full? Like from playing it from top to bottom. You know how they do tours on anniversaries of specific albums? I think I'd really like to see this because A, I'd love to see how the fuck they perform this live because it's absolutely batshit and they must have to really lock in to remember how they played it in the first place. And B, I think being in the crowd at a show where everybody's there to listen to this album, everyone's a big fan of Title Fight, they're a big fan of this album, the fucking vibes would be immaculate. Like everybody would just be there to fully go for it. There'd be arms around each other. Everyone had a pint in their hand, fucking sloshing it everywhere. It would be havoc in the best possible way.
Well, it's time for the last track, GMT Greenwich Mean Time, which shoots us British boys finally.
Sure does. Sure does. Shoots.
What a bastard.
Oh. This is the longest track on the album by a big margin as well. A lot of the time to explore different sounds here. I feel like every member's being withdrawn right now. Oh!
Oh.
Oh, with
when the bass joined in with those notes then.
Yeah. Just made it full, didn't it? It's a very different feel to everything we've had so far.
That guitar note echoed across the earphones then.
Oof. Jingly guitar there.
Lovely way to close the album. Very angry again in the delivery, but it actually felt in the instrumental a little bit calmer in some moments than a lot of the tracks we've had previous. It were kind of a mixture of the two, and I thought that was a nice way to say goodbye in a weird way.
It felt like an entirely different style to the rest of the album from what we've heard, and the only thing that I could really draw a comparison to is, do you remember that Sum 41 album where it's not like that track, but they did the Heavy Metal Jamboree, whatever it's called, as the last track, and it was just out of nowhere. That's what that felt like to me. That felt like it was a lot more reserved and a lot more sad boy, and kind of a lot more in the realm of your Midwest emo style, which we've kind of had, you know, an air of throughout the album, but I felt like that really locked in that sound.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. However, Shed as a whole, first time listening, and I will most certainly be listening again. I really, really enjoyed that. As you said a few times, I can't believe I haven't listened to it before, but we said pop punk at the start. I don't even really think this comes under pop punk. I think it's just punk. I wouldn't give it that title. And I kind of saw how they influenced a lot of pop punk bands. But in some of the calmer songs, it reminded me of some of the more gritty indie tracks that we've had in recent years, you know, like the heavier Wonder Horse or KO tracks, things along those lines. I can see how these guys musically are viewed very specially by a lot of other artists, because there's so much talent on display. The mixing was incredible, the production was incredible, but the riffs just switching around and the time signature changing so much. And honestly, I feel like I could listen to that 100 times and find new little bits and new little moments that I enjoyed.
I think because they've mixed in so many different styles as well, it's kind of like they are the father of so many different things. Because like you're saying, you've got your Wonder Horses and your Kios. They've got that also kind of that exaggerated, really energy, like, you know, you can feel the emotions in the voice, almost to the raspiness where it sounds like they're blowing the voice out. And then on the side of that, you've also got the kind of pop punk side, and then you've got the math rock influence, and then, you know, we listened to Two Door Cinema Club recently. That had a similar kind of math rockiness to it. There's maybe it's this era, maybe it's the era of like the early 2010s or the late 2000s where everyone was just trying different things, and then in the later 2010s it started to cement into the sounds that we hear nowadays. But how have we not listened to these? Every time we listen to an album from this era, I always think, how have we, or how have I not listened to this previously? Because goddamn, that was amazing.
Yeah, and there's 2 more Title Fight albums, so let us know if you'd like us to listen to them. And I do want to shout out right at the end of this video, we have spoken to a few pop punk bands in the past, and Title Fight did come up both times, so we'll leave a link to our interview with Knuckle Puck and with 4 Year Strong at the end of this video. But I do ask again to please hit like and subscribe, because it really helps us out.
Thank you very much for watching.